Jetzt hier, das wirklich der erste Gameplay.
So, it wasn't a dream after all. Not a very chatty fellow, are you? I don't even remember them strapping me down.
Also ich weiß mit alt, wenn man alt drückt, sieht man halt Items. Jetzt kann ich umgehen und Smartphone. Erstmal alles mitnehmen. Was ich noch weiß ist, wie ich gesehen habe, das ist der kleine Schädel, wenn man untot ist und einmal redet. So, nebenbei. So, was haben wir noch? Strength, Finesse 10. Skills, blablabla, Intelligence, Constitution, ja, Memory. Ah, cool, Memory. It's okay, Damage. Ja, gut, ja, okay, Waffe, Critical Strike, Accuracy. Dodging, Physical Armor, ja, ich habe noch nichts. Scandal, egal. Initiative. Focus. Naja. Ja. Source.
No indications of a struggle.
Combat abilities. Durability. Two one-handed weapons, range single-handed, two-handed. Okay. Defense. Ich habe noch nichts. Scorner. Geht um 15. Okay, das sind die ganzen die wir mal charakterstellen durchgegangen sind. Die Battle King. Oh, cool. Lucky Charm. Lawmaster, Telekinesis. Ja. Sneaking.
I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
Ja, gut, das sind jetzt super viele. Oh, klar, back alles mit, der ist okay. Ja, hier, Best Attack, One Life, okay, ich wollte ein Messer.
Did the murderer take him into this room? Or was he already here?
Oh Gott, ein bisschen erkältet noch.
Ah, you're up. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work.
I'll
There.
need to write to
Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest, and he's the chap in charge of the logs. You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. Don't you dare. If you violate the virtue of my carpet, I'll do a good thing worse than put a collar around your neck.
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort Joy. A new life awaits. And if you're a particularly good boy, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Source. For good.
Also, was sie jetzt gerade redet, ist halt, dass dieses Source ist halt diese Magie, die man hat. Das sind deine ganzen Spells halt, ne? Die man halt macht. Und dieses Halsband verhindert halt, dass ich die einsetzen kann.
Did the murderer take him into this room?
Oh, Alexander, why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those source spells of yours? See what happens.
Wird aber gesagt. Und wenn du halt das jetzt machst.
Currents of magic surge inside you, boiling, bursting, then breaking, only to fade back into your soul like rain into the earth.
My, look at the concentration on your face. All will, but no result. There you have it, see? The collar's function. It neuters you, of sorts. Makes you unable to cast Source. For your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the whole world's.
A young magister stands pale and silent. Her knuckles whiten around her weapon as you pass. Good gods! This bit behind the magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make out a face amid the mess.
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time, or you'd be a suspect like the rest of them. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does. It's a small ship. His name was Finn. Oddball. Looked to me like he saw something he wished he hadn't before he came here. We'll find out who did it, one way or another.
Okay, da geht's weiter. Hier ist wieder rein. Erstmal voll über die Leiche gelatscht.
Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this.
Voidwalken sind diese Viecher, von denen diese alte Tante im Intro gelabert hat. Die kommen auch wieder noch. Former the chosen this man's protective was his kept us. So the crime scene for she could kill her.
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep the whole time. Didn't even stir. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course.
Also wir sind halt nicht im Trial, weil wir halt gepennt haben. Gut. Ist auch ein gutes Alibi. Aber Short and say maybe you can, you're so ja, vielleicht hätte ich es auch umbringen können. Ich bin ja immer ein Magier, ne? Tell that the freak you
I thought as much. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears open among the passengers. Sometimes they clam up in front of a uniform. Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that?
Say that you're no snitch. What the megastar?
Not in here, it isn't. You let me know if you hear anything. Whoever did this is dangerous.
Also wenn es rot ist, ne, also weiße Sachen, kann ich easy machen. Hier zum Beispiel den kann ich easy machen, aber rote Sachen nicht, weil das ist irgendwie schlecht. Das
No marks, no indications of a struggle.
Achso, nee, Kann ich scheiß Schule untersuchen? Wichtige Beschäftigung. Wichtiges Feature, ja? Dass man sich hinsetzen kann. Man muss auch mal runter. Ja? Wichtiges Feature an der Stelle. Gut, der steht mal alleine da auf. Das ist gerade angenehmer. Ich gehe erstmal durchdenken.
The hatch is blocked. I need to find another way.
Okay, es gibt mal einen Weg. Gut. Ich glaube, das ist ein Early da. Okay, im Bett wohl. No, ist gut.
Be good, you scallywags.
Du hast ein Video Party. Sehr schön. Ah, hier ist der. Ah, schön. Alter, ne. Auch für 50 Armor, ne. Fuck off, Alter. Alle klar. Oh Gott, stimmt. Oh Gott, ja, stimmt, da war ja was. Man kann ja auch craften, ja? Ja, kommt die Crafting Screen, zeigt doch. Ja. Man kann ja auch craften, Alter. Man kann übeln, man kann kochen, man kann all den Scheiß machen. Das kommt,
Ah, there you are. Husband.
Ah, das ist ja eine von den Tanten, von dem aus dem Los.
Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not at all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this loser woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical.
Also ich habe da echt Bock einfach zu
How
spielen.
very correct you are, spouse of mine. Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb refuses to be confused with anyone else. What? What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from her with a laugh.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we?
Say that soon enough, shake her hand, let me see promise. Ask if you couldn't find someone my age and consider someone entertainment.
You presume right.
Ask if you know anything about the murder that happened with Wolf.
Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it. You take care, though.
Okay,
Nope. Trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer. As quickly as they came, the clouds clear. She smiles as though no change came over her.
Good luck, Chief.
Do you know Lo, sir? She's a really...
They're picking us off one by one.
Wenn ich will mir keinen irgendwie
We just skip to the part where I reassure.
Ha! Ich kann mit dir reden! Das ist awesome!
Go!
Ich kann mit dir reden. Das ist mega geil. Bringt nicht viel im Moment, aber...
What are you trying here anyway? I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Here to register, sir. Good, good. Magister Williams is just about done with the last passenger. You faring okay so far?
Oh, da soll ich hin. Nee, da will ich gar nicht hin. Ich will auch mit den Leuten reden. Fein.
Trust me, with Bishop Alexander in charge, things will get a lot better from here on out. He's God-woken, you know. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
Okay, okay.
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning your body, absorbing every detail.
Ich will erstmal mit allen Leuten da reden, die lästig sind, bevor ich hier hingehen muss, wie ich auch hingehen soll.
He reaches out and takes your hand, turning it this way and that, examining it from every angle. Finally, he pinches your skin, gently tugging at it.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
Ask who you speaking to, Virtual.
Ah, yes. The niceties. My name is Fane. I am a scholar from... Well, I am a seeker of knowledge. That is enough. It is pleasurable to meet you. Is there? Wherever do you keep it? Certainly not in your books. I have been reading this one for several minutes, and I have yet to find a single insight into the mysteries of the universe. It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. I know the beginning of this tale and the end, but I am rather missing the middle. Tell me, what do you know of our world's history?
What interacts with your party members? Custom progress of race, gender, and profession takes on their own origin tag.
Oh, please. I have no interest in that. Your books are too full of it already. No. I want to know about the Celestial. I want to know about your gods. This text tells me that they created all creatures, but nothing of what came before. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind?
The elf's face freezes for just a second before he waves his hand dismissively.
Oh, it's just one of my idle curiosities. We mortals do like to consider these things, do we not? Now, please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
It was one of them. Well, well. What have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we? See if you'll do.
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse.
Also der war in der Origin Story ziemlich cool, der ist auch ziemlich geil, außerdem bin ich gerne dabei.
All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
There's some discoloration, but I've seen worse. After all, one can't expect to find prime merchandise on a squalid little ship like this. Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook? Ah, music to my beleaguered
Wie gesagt, ich will ihn dabei haben. Ich will ihn gerne dabei, weil
On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor?
Make a bomb like look like a baron.
Oh, but to feel the caress of satin on my scarlet skin once more. A most satisfactory answer indeed. On then to my final
Ich gebe
query.
zu, ich
Have you the
weiß,
ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after.
ich gebe zu, ich weiß, was ich antworten soll. Ich weiß nicht genau, welchen Text ich anklicken muss. Den muss ich schon lesen. Aber ich weiß halt, dass der an sich einen Sklaven ist. Und dort habe ich mir so spoilern lassen. Ich weiß nicht, was der halt will. Der will an sich einen Sklaven. Ich finde das bisschen Pride, der ist immer gesagt, Control and Purpose. Then you're trying to try the last time you buffed. The time of scam, ja.
The very basics then. I suppose that's a start.
Und der will halt so einen Typen haben, der alles macht. Musst du am Ende nicht machen.
So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions answered.
Wenn du falsch
Let's
wenn du was
evaluate, shall we?
Wenn du was anderes antwortest, dann redet er nicht mit dir. Das ist aber jetzt genau das.
As per your own testimony, you can cook, tailor, and groom. Well, that just about settles it.
Ich weiß gar nicht, ob ich gucken kann. Ich bin gar nicht mehr sicher, ob ich das Talent dafür habe. Gut, so den ganzen
I offer you my sincerest congratulations. As of now, you are my slave.
So halt ich. Das finde ich halt so geil.
Of course. Mine wasn't an offer, it was an order.
Das finde ich so geil. Das finde ich einfach mega witzig, ja? Ja, muss ich einfach machen.
Anyway, you may leave me for a moment. We'll go over your duties once we reach Fort Joy. Now shoo!
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with it.
Keep those bubbles trained on her.
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper. Finer fare than boiled roots and rotten tubers, too. Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat behind this very wall. The indignity.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one. Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up? You think me mad? Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
Ah, sehr gut.
Here anyway. I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
How dare you
A
classify
broad
this-
dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, boy. You hear that?
There has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more
He opens both eyes and turns his head toward you, looking you up and down. He smiles and closes his eyes once more.
You look like a boy to me. Listen if you're interested, or get gone if you aren't. The ship, of course.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself.
Okay.
And?
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out.
Also, ich will sagen, das Schiff ist ein zicker Mann.
nothing else you can make, Your Majesty.
Der See ist angelegt. Wie viel ist er?
The fellow cocks his ear, listening.
That isn't anger. It's
He cocks his ear to the other side, then smiles.
Murder, Your Majesty.
anticipation. She senses something. I'd hold on to my breeches if I were you, mate. That's all you hear, though. Listen close. There now, just like that.
Squeak. Runter, squeak.
Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose your footing.
There. You heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, boy. Good news. No, you beautiful idiot. That wasn't any rat. It was the wheel. Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Burn my beard. That means if we've been traveling for, yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy.
That right? I always knew you'd turn up rot and Ben Nest. Your kind always
Ah, so you've eyes as well as ears, eh? You'll go far, mate. Even here. No indeed, boy. But that ain't my final destination.
Ich glaube, der ist wichtig, um von dieser Kackinsel, zu der wir hinfahren, wir ist ja eine Gefängnisinsel, wieder runterzukommen.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His eyes roll over to you.
That'll be all. Thank you kindly, boy.
Please, please, please. A no doesn't mean a yes over time.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more.
You one of them?
appetizing things
A divine order loyal? They killed a sorcerer, you know. They'll hide the evidence well enough.
Okay, that's not really
Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner,
Scheiße,
and I
das war
don't
alles
intend to
mit.
do away with the custom.
There has been a murder, Your Majesty.
Ja, aber ich will schon
Maybe that has the Majesty's more concern than your appetite.
So,
Don't you
grenades,
get
arrows, and
saucy with
potions.
me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Sing us a song. I know
Okay,
you
sind
can.
Sehr nützlich sind weg, nur,
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry cackling of an old witch.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like. Rolling dice. Deciding fates.
She eyes you quite seriously.
Not the future, no, but I can read the past in flesh. One of the perks of being an elf, you see. I'm quite good at it, too. I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
She gives your arm a vigorous stroke of the tongue, efficient like a cat grooming.
You were in a cellar with other sorcerers. As everyone lay sleeping, you lay awake thinking of someone back home. A very special someone. You were reminiscing about the things you used to do together.
Embraced.
Of course it is. The truth's right there, skin deep. But don't you worry, darling. Your secret's safe with me. I don't lick and tell. Don't worry, honey. It isn't yours.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
Never say never, though.
Ich will eigentlich auch nicht lieben.
It was one of them. I know it.
You put a knuckle in it.
A
I'm
no
trying
doesn't
to
become a yes over time.
Okay.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'm busy watching for clues, sorcerer. Go take your sub-story somewhere else.
In our own. They're picking us off one by one.
And we just skip to the part where I
A scruffy man lounges against the wall with scarred arms folded. A sly smile playing on his face, he stares across at the Magister guarding him. Noticing you, he straightens and beckons for you to come closer.
Watch your back, new fish. There's a murderer on board, and I'd bet 3 months' pay it's this tramp Ifan.
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man named Ifan beckons again.
How dare you classify this slop?
He leans in and adjusts your collar with a sharp tug, balancing its weight so it no longer presses unpleasantly on your neck. He winks.
Pinches less that way, right?
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your general direction, the sullen Magister settles back to his task of glowering at Ifan. And now, you.
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his commander many, many, many moons ago. Isn't that right, Vic?
Standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced Magister draws one finger across his throat in an elaborate fashion, but says nothing. Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword and now he's Johnny Big Pants. Long story. Maybe I'll tell you about it in the Joy. Away from interested parties. No. The dead man, Finn, is it? I'd no business with him. And I wouldn't put a man down without good reason.
He glances over at Magister Victor, who's staring back at him with pointed intensity.
Damn shame sheer annoyance isn't reason enough. The Joy, I've heard a lot. Nothing good. No surprise there, since Bishop Alexander runs the show. Wonder if we'll get to meet the ringmaster himself.
Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Easy now. I might think the same, but Vic here will blow a blood vessel if he hears you talking like that.
What are you conspiring about over there? You! What's your name?
Oh, don't mind him. Vic's just got a bee in his bonnet. And that bee is me.
Name?
Magister Victor looks at you suspiciously, then scrawls something illegible down in a tiny notebook. He scowls at you as he stows the notebook back in his voluminous robes.
Away with you, at once.
Ifan performs an elaborate pantomime of keeping quiet, one finger in front of his lips as he leans back against the wall.
Das Essen ist bestimmt nicht schlecht.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
The magic sword.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty.
Lens.
Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Keep those bolts trained on her, and if she tries to run, shoot to kill.
You seem on edge, officer. What on earth is the matter?
Murder most foul, and I strongly suspect you know all about it.
Do you? Well, perhaps you're absolutely right.
We just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up.
No, gotcha.
Mad? Insufferable.
Also mit rechts A und rechts kann man ein bisschen rausgehen.
I'll tell you if you keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Oh, weiter.
Well, there has been a
Sauber,
murder,
es gibt
Your
nicht
Majesty.
richtig aus.
That has the Magisters more concerned
You
than
seem
your
on edge, officer. What on earth is the matter?
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about
I
sauce.
strongly suspect you know all about it.
Do you? Well, perhaps you're absolutely right.
Put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate.
Ah.
They don't care about us. We're the cattle to them. I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
Oh, nee.
Just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up.
verkaufen jetzt sein ganzes Essen.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
No, that's the 10th one.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
Yes, it's also...
No, I'm afraid I always perform my part solo. Do stay and watch, though, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
Okay. Oh, where's the fight? Okay, nicht mein erster Fight. War ein schnelles Gefecht. Solo Q-Game. Gut. Oh fuck, jetzt wollte ich
What happened?
Oh, Fehler DB. Ja, das habe ich schon gesehen.
The hound paws desperately at its snout. It winces as it draws blood from its wet black nose and continues scratching. The dog notices you for the first time and snarls, the hairs on its back prickling as it lowers itself into a lunge.
You sorcerer!
It sneezes suddenly and paws at its nose once more.
Can't smell. Can't breathe. Too much sauce. Too much. Too much. Please make it stop. Too much. Too much. Can't smell. Can't breathe.
The dog whines and continues pawing at its nose.
Damn, that doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards. Not long before this thing snaps into splinters!
Looten, Leute, looten.
But a fine grace, what was...
He eyes the collar circling your neck and reaches a hand towards his blade.
Another sorcerer!
The Magister's companion doesn't blink, frozen in place at the sight of you.
Yes.
He leaps to attention, then whispers loudly to the other Magister.
Don't just cower there, Rix! Take out your blade!
Rix raises his sword, which shakes to the rhythm of his trembling hand.
Move into behind an enemy to take while winning a dagger backstab. Okay. 2 AP.
And you thought Rivellon was flat.
Das war doch eigentlich ganz angenehm.
Bishop Alexander. If Lucian were alive, what would he think of his son's divine order?
It's about the town. What lives in good, but a day away. I continue to interview the dragon. Nein, ich werde es nicht weg.
God damn it! We need to get off this wreck, and quick!
to get off this ship.
Gut. Gut. Wie gesagt, hiermit mache ich jetzt erstmal einen Cut und wir sehen uns wieder. Tschüss.